I expect Cyvance to move incredibly fast. And, Pete described that Trump as having a little shield left in New York against Cyvance. It's not a little shield, it's a paper-thin shield at best. And so I think it's totally possible for all of this to come out before the 2020 election in terms of New York's prosecutors getting this information and acting on it. If I'm Donald Trump, I am scared right now.
Scared right now. That is a new key legal point from legal expert Neil Katyal on how the New York DA, Cy Vance, can get Trump's taxes from all kinds of years, not just the period covered by the Stormy Daniels scandal. Throughout Donald Trump's life, though, there's been a lot of speculation, and some of it quite informed and researched, about just what is lurking in the tax returns.
What is Donald Trump hiding in his taxes? Ties to the Russian mob? Favors for foreign businesses?
Maybe he's not as rich as he says he is. We have been told through investigative reporting that he owes about $650 million to Wall Street and foreign banks.
Perhaps one more reason why we're not seeing his tax returns, because he is deeply involved in dealing with Russian oligarchs and others.
The possibility of money laundering.
Is there any entanglement with a foreign power that might influence U.S. policy against our national interest?
Many questions and theories. We turn now to Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist David Cay Johnston. He's been digging into Donald Trump's finances for years and joins us from a nice outdoor setting. I hope you're getting sun as you do your hard work, sir.
Thank you. This is the Tim Burton Garden. The director hired me once to propose a movie about Donald Trump that sadly never got made. You can imagine the fun Tim Burton could have with Donald Trump.
Yes. Well, you could have Edward Scissorhands try to shred these files enough that they'd be hard to read. But when you look at those questions and you're reporting, and on this night of all nights, a David Cay Johnston kind of night, what is the evidence or information that guides you to your understanding of why he's hiding them, what might be in there?
Well, the New York prosecutors already have Trump's federal tax information, not the literal returns, but the information on them, because the state of New York, like all the states, shares information with the Internal Revenue Service. What they don't have are the accounting records at Mazars and the business records of the Trump Organization. Now, if the accounting and business records do not line up with the tax return, Donald Trump has problems, serious problems. And if the accounting and business records indicate they've been fabricating deductions or not describing income properly, he's got problems. We all sign our tax return. It's called a jurat, where we testify, in effect, that this is an honest return. And we know from the New York Times' massive, brilliant, completely on-the-money article in the fall of 2018 that there's clear evidence of Donald Trump engaging in a variety of tax cheating activities, along with his siblings, in the period up to shortly after his father died. And we also now know that Mary Trump provided 19 boxes of records to the New York Times reporters, which is how they were able to do a lot of the work they did.
Yeah, you mentioned that investigative reporting based on primary source documents, which raised many questions about lies, about ethical breaches, whether or not they were criminal, state or federal, is not, as you know, and as we report, answered by that article. It's part of what would be under investigation. What do you see happening next, given how much you understand all of these details?
Well, as several of the people you had on a moment ago said, Cy Vance is going to move as quickly as he can to try and proceed with the investigation. Trump is going to try and tie this up. And since it's going back to the federal court where Trump decided to seek his remedies rather than pursuing it in state court, I think there's some possibility this will be tied up for a while, quite a bit of possibility. The more troubling thing in the decisions today is that Justice Roberts paid no attention to one of the three committees. Two of the committees have weak claims, but one of them, the House Ways and Means Committee, operates under a section of the Internal Revenue Code that says tax returns shall be turned over on request. Trump has the same right. He can look at your tax return anytime he wants to, or mine. And Justice Roberts never cited that statute. He never cited the word shall. He conflated the three cases, two weak ones and one soft, and sent them back for further review. That's a gift to Donald Trump. It means that will be under litigation, I think, for some time. And he did not uphold a crystal clear anti-corruption law that's been on the books since 1924.
Yeah, you make a great point. We have discussed in our coverage some of the high water marks of these rulings, and I think viewers heard that. I do think, as you often do, David, you put a spear right in the soft underbelly of the congressional ruling, which seemed to really not want to deal with or get into the hot question of why you wouldn't get the taxes when federal law, as you noted, says you shall hand them over. Very interesting. I trust we'll be discussing this again. A lot more to come. David Cay Johnston, thank you, sir. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.